All right, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk about operators. So operators are used to perform operations on variables values. Okay, so Python divides the operators in the following groups: arithmetic operators, assignment operators, comparison operators, logical operators, identity operators, membership operators, and bitwise operators. So let's jump right into it. And the first operator we're going to talk about is arithmetic operators. So let me go to the next slide here and I'll talk in detail about arithmetic operators. So arithmetic operators are used with numeric values to perform common mathematical operations. So you can see on the left we have the operator. So the first one would be plus and the name would be addition. Okay, then we have subtraction, multiplication, division, modules, explanation, and floor division. So if you put in one of these operators, which we're going to do now in a minute, so for the first example would be addition, then subtraction, then multiplication, then division. Okay, so let's head over to our Anaconda and create a notebook. Okay. All right, so we're in Anaconda. Now what I want to do is I want to open up a notebook and we're going to create one notebook called operators. So let's go to desktop, let's go to Python basics, and we're going to do new Python notebook and Python 3 notebook. And then we're going to do 07, okay, operators. Okay, I'll save that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do arithmetic operators first. And I'm going to comment this out so we can kind of go through each one of these and learn in detail what arithmetic operators are. So let's do arithmetic. And we need to do the hashtag first. So arithmetic operators, okay? And then we can even put the signs in there if you want. So for example, we could do we could do plus, minus, times, divide, percent, divide, percent, and then do two multiplication signs, okay, and then floor division. Okay, now, why is this important? Because when you see what they're doing on each example, then it will be really easy to understand. Okay, so the first one I'm going to do is we're going to do a plus b. Okay, so we'll do a plus b, and what you're going to get out of that is nothing at first. So we're going to do a couple things here. We need to set the values of the variables. So we'll do a equals 5, b equals 7, and then we'll print a plus b, okay? And then let's run this, okay? So we get 12. Now the next operator would be c equals 12, d equals 37. And we'll do print d minus c, 25, okay? Then we're going to do multiplication. Okay, so then we have E and F. So E is going to equal 73. F is going to equal 93. And then we're going to do multiplication. So we'll do print E times F. Okay, and then if we run that, what do we get? 6,789. Okay, now we're going to do division. Okay, so we'll do G and H. Okay, G is going to equal 82. H is going to equal 98. Okay, and then we'll print G divided by H and see what happens. Okay, we'll print it. And there you go. 0.8367, etc. Okay? Then when we do modulus, you're going to see what it does. It's going to give you a couple different things here. I and j are going to be the variables. Okay, so we're going to do 73, and then j is going to equal 28, and we're going to print I percent, and then j, and then print that, and it gives me 17. Okay. Then we're going to get exponentation. Okay. And again, we're going to do K and L. Okay. So we'll do, both of those are going to equal, and then we'll do 27 and 37. Okay. And we'll do print K with 2 multiplication signs. Okay. And then L. And then print that. And what do you get? A really long number. Then we're going to do floor division. Okay, so with this one, we're going to do m and n. So we'll do equals 27 again, and equals 98. Okay, so now when I do print m, 2 division signs, and then n, and we'll give it some space here just so we can cleanly read it, and we run it, we get 0. Okay, so you get an idea of some of the examples that I was talking about with arithmetic operators. It's really easy to figure out once you run the operators what they do. Okay, they're pretty straightforward from top to bottom. So that's arithmetic operators. Now let's talk about assignment operators. So assignment operators are used to assign values to variables. So the example would be equals, plus equals, minus equals, times equals, divided by equals, percentage equals, etc. Okay? And you see them all here. Now, the point of showing you this is these are examples of what you could be doing if you did the example here, x plus equals 10. And here it would be x equals x plus 10. So essentially what you're doing is you're combining what? What are you combining? Because we're doing x plus equals 10. And same as x equals x plus 10. So what does that mean? Okay, well, when we do plus equals, we're basically including x and just putting shorthand code in there. So you don't have to type out all of that. You can just type out x plus equals 10. Okay? If you wanted to write it out long form, then you would do x equals x plus 10. Okay? So let's look at examples of that. So I'm back here in our notebook and our operators, okay? And with this one, we're just going to run a few examples, okay? Because you got the idea with the other arithmetic operators, which those are really straightforward. The assignment operators are used to assign values to variables, okay? So what we can do is when we run this, we can do x equals 10, and then we can print x. Okay, and when I run that, we're going to get 10. Okay, because that's the idea. This is an operator. The assignment operator is used to assign values to variables. So you can do that with all these different versions of the operator. You can use it with all these. Plus equals, minus equals, times equals, divide equals, etc. Okay? So let's do a couple more here. So we'll do x equals x plus equals 10. Then we'll print x, okay, and run that. And what do we get? 20. Okay. So if I make it a, and then do it again, we get 15. Okay, and then we'll do b minus equals 10. Okay, and then we'll print b. Okay, and then I'll run that, see where we're at, -3. Okay. Then if I do c times equals, then we can do 10 and print c. Okay, and then I run that, and what do we get? 120. Okay, and then if we do d divided equal to 10, print d, what do I get? We get 3.7. So you get the idea of what an assignment operator, it's used to assign values to variables. Okay, and then it will give you the return that you're looking for. Okay. Now it's going to give me a different value because we have a here. Now if I do z instead of a plus equals 2, okay, now let's run it. Okay. Okay, let's do x then. 15. Okay. Now when I did a, what did it do? 25. So if I do x, we get 25. If I do x here, what do we get? -3. So if I do a, -3. Okay. So there you go. You get a good idea. Now let's talk about our next operator, which is the comparison operator. All right, now let's talk about comparison operators. So comparison operators are used to compare two values. So the operator is equal, not equal, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, and then less than or equal to. Okay, so with all these comparison operators, you can do a lot of different things. So we're back in our notebook here, and I'll run those comparison operators just so you can see how they work and understand what we're doing. Okay, so if we do an equal operator first, what we need to do is we need to give it a value. We need to have two variables and then run back the equal operator. Okay, so we can do, let's do O equals 7, P equals 9, and then print O is equal to 9. Not 9, sorry, P. I don't know what I'm doing right now. False. Returns false because 5 is not equal to 3. Exactly. 7 is not equal to 9. Okay? But it's doing exactly what we want it to do. Okay? Not equal. So if I ran the same one again, okay? If we ran this again, not equal, okay? So let's print O is not equal to, so exclamation point equals P, and see what that does. True, because this one is true. 7 is not equal to 9. That's true. The first statement is O is equal to P. That's false. The second statement, I misspoke here. O is not equal to 9. That's true. So they're both false, but in this case, one's false, one's true, because both statements are just what I said. One's false, one's true. Okay. Now, if we do the next one, okay, we do print O greater than, O is greater than P, then what's going to happen? False. Right? There you go. Now, if we do print O is less than, if I can type, then P, what's going to happen? True. Okay? Now, if I print O is greater than, that's less than, greater than or equal to P, what's it going to say? False. And then if I print O is less than or equal to P, then we're going to get what? True. And why is that? Because 7 is less than or equal to 9. It's less than 9. So that's why it would be true. That's why when we did O is less than 9, or O is less than P, it was true. Okay? So you see what's going on there. Okay? So now let's talk about logical operators. All right, logical operators. So with this, what you get is logical operators are used to combine conditional statements. So the operator AND returns true if both statements are true. The operator OR returns true if one of the statements is true. And the operator NOT reverses the result, returns false if the result is true. Okay, so let's jump into our notebook and check this out. All right, so we're back in our notebook here. So let's look at the logical operators real quick. So let's look at the AND operator first. Okay, and we can literally use this right here to test it out. So we can print O is greater than 3 and X is less than 10. So what do we get? False? We get false. Well, we get true. Okay, so returns true if both statements are true. Okay, so if I did, so that works there. Now, OR returns true if one of the statements is true. So it's only looking at half of the statement to be true. So if half the statement is true, then it will return true. Okay, so for that example, what we would do is we would do this. Okay, if we do P, so if we print P 3 or X is greater than 4, let's print it. It returns true because one of the statements is true. Okay. Then with the final one here, we have not. Okay. So reverse the result, returns false if the result is true. Okay. So with this one, if I do, and we're still going to use P here. Okay, so print not. Okay, and then we'll do P 3 and X here is 10. Okay, now we'll run this and see what happens. It's true. So you can see that with operators, with different operators too, like with the AND or not, you get different results. Okay, so there you have it. So now let's talk about identity operators. All right, let's talk about identity operators. So identity operators are used to compare the objects, not if they are equal, but if they are actually the same object with the same memory location. So the operator is not. So is returns true if both variables are the same object. X is Y. Is not returns true if both variables are not the same object. X is not Y. Okay? So we're back in our notebook here. Let's just take a quick look at these and get a good idea of how these work. Okay, so the very first one here is. So if we do is, returns true if both variables are the same object. Okay, so if they're writing out the same object, so here's an example, and we'll do a new one here. So we'll do Q and R. Okay, so Q equals, let's do apple. R equals apple. Okay, then if I print Q is R, okay, it's going to return what? True or false? False. Okay, now why is it doing that? Now, if I do one more here, if I do S equals T, and then do S equals T. Okay, let's try that. We get an error. Okay. So if I do T equals S, okay, we get syntax error. Okay, that's fine. Now, that wasn't the point. The point was to make apple the same so that it will return what we want. So if I print Q, and I put that in, Q is equal to R, and then we print that, what happens? True. And that's what we're looking for, okay? So now let's talk about membership operators. Okay, so membership operators are used to test if a sequence is presented in an object. So the operator in returns true if a sequence with a specified value is present in the object. Example would be X and Y. And not in, the operator, returns true if a sequence with a specified value is not present in the object. X not in Y. Okay? And now I want to talk about bitwise operators. So bitwise operators are used to compare binary numbers. So the operator AND, the name is AND, sets each bit to 1 if both bits are 1. The operator OR sets each bit to 1 if one of the two bits is 1. Operator, the up sign, bracket sign, XOR, sets each bit to 1 if only one of two bits is 1. Not inverts all the bits. 0 fills the left shift. Shift left by pushing zeros in from the right to let the leftmost bits fall off. And signed right shift. Shift right by pushing copies of the leftmost bit in from the left and let the rightmost bits fall off. Okay? So that is Python operators. All right, so thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.